your fitness business podcast snapshot. Understanding the age of disruption, how to deal with disruption in your business, and 3 tips to build a business in 2020 and beyond. All of that and more coming up in today's show. Welcome to the industry's leading business podcast for fitness owners and managers. This month's interviews are brought to you by our podcast partner, OneFitStop. OneFitStop is modern fitness studio software built for the growing multi-location studio, providing scheduling, client management, programming, payment collection tools, and more that will set your business up to grow. To find out more, go to onefitstop.com or click on the link in today's show notes. Hi everyone, welcome along and thank you for joining me. My special guest this week is Scott Stratten, the president of Unmarketing. Scott is a disruptive and untraditional sales, marketing, branding, and relationship expert. As the president of Unmarketing, he has transformed how corporations like PepsiCo, Century 21, Fidelity, and Microsoft do business, with radical insights on how to engage better with customers through social and viral marketing. Named a top 5 social media power influencer by Forbes.com, Scott elevates the conversation by putting the focus back on what matters most to current and potential buyers. Values like trust, authenticity, relationships, and service. In 2018, Scott was inducted into the National Speakers Association Hall of Fame. And one more thing, Scott is one of the keynote speakers at URSA 2020. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about his session a little later on in the show. Now, speaking of URSA, I also have a bonus segment for you this week because I caught up with Caitlin Anderson Fernandez. Caitlin is the URSA Advocacy Content Manager, and she joins us after the main interview to share some of the insights and highlights coming up at URSA this year. And last but not least, I also had a great chat this week with our podcast partner, Trina Gray from Team Rockstar Fit, to hear all about what Trina and her team of coaches have planned for the year ahead. That interview is also coming up today. Wow, as you can tell, it is a seriously big edition of the show. So let's not delay. It is time to transition into today's episode. But first, thank you to our podcast partner, OneFitStop. If you're tired of old studio software that's constantly raising prices without increasing value, then talk to OneFitStop, where their platform is constantly evolving to meet the needs of growing studio businesses. Go to onefitstop.com to find out more. It's now my pleasure to introduce you to our special guest, Scott Stratten. I started by asking Scott to help us understand the age of disruption. Here's what he had to say.
Well, it's something that we had noticed for a while, which was, look, change, nobody's ever liked change. Obviously, it's just a human trait. Mm-hmm. But there's been a difference with change now, which is why it's called disruption. And let's be very clear with something. Disruption is a very basic thing. Disruption is simply change without time to resist it. And the amazing thing is that we call it disruption when it happens to us, but we call it innovation when we do it. And it's the same thing. True. Right? Innovation is internally in a company. Disruption happens outside against our will. And it's it's change without time, because it took 82 years roughly for electricity to be adopted. In North America, it took almost 80 years. It took 50 years for refrigeration, from the concept to mass adoption. It took 26 years for the VCR. It took 6 years for the internet, 4 years for smartphones, and 2 years for social media to be adopted by, a strong section of the population. This is showing us a sign. We used to have time. We used to have time to, years when something was coming to say, is this for us? Is it not? We could even wait it out. We could just kind of sail off into the distance. And when this new change come, we're already kind of retiring. We've sold our gym. We've sold whatever it is. And we've left this new world we don't understand. And now I'm telling you, it's got to be like a month and a whole fundamental change happens to industries, and it's breakneck speed. And that's where that's where the anger comes in. And it's just a totally different thing. It's exciting. I love disruption. I love tech. I love things being better for customers in general, but it's also scary. It doesn't matter whether or not we want to adopt it or not. It's happening. It doesn't matter whether or not we believe in a Peloton type of thing, or a Soul Cycle type of thing, or an app or a mirror that we can put in our house and a trainer shows up, onto the digital mirror. So it doesn't matter whether or not we want. It's happening and it's there. And the problem is, this is where we kind of feel screwed, where we were told, and I'm not sure about yourself or anybody listening right now, but when I was young, when I was growing up, when I was that 12-year-old wondering if I could be a speaker, we were told, look, just go to school, get good grades, go to college, go to university, get a job, work hard, and you'll be rewarded. And then we do that. And we go to school and we get good grades. Maybe we open our own place, we open our own gym. And then it comes around saying, oh, actually, hang on a second. This jerk with a man bun just showed up and changed. By the way, I have a man bun, just so you all know. That's why I'm saying that. But if he was showing up and just saying, oh, there's no rules, it's changes. And that's the issue, right? Where we felt we were sold kind of a false bill of goods. And the problem is, especially those people who are listening right now who did go to college or university, a lot of the curriculums, if you think the fitness industry is slow to adopt disruption, try the education industry. Right? We have students still buying textbooks that don't even refer to things about social media at all, because they're written by people who are not potentially in the trenches in the world doing it. They're written by academics who have no need to stay on top of stuff, because the original rules of marketing never changed, right? It was the 4 Ps. It was all those type of things. And now it's like, what? Hang on a second. If you said Snapchat to a professor in most colleges, they'd be like, Chap Snat who? Like, it doesn't even... So the rules, the fundamental parts of business haven't changed, but where business happens and where things get known has changed. So, but I think it's an opportunity. But I think it's an opportunity to look at our industry differently, because a lot of people in the fitness world, especially those that own, physical locations of things, they think their competition are other gyms. And I insist that your competition in having your own gym is not other gyms necessarily. It's Netflix. It's the things that are stopping me from going to the gym necessarily, both as an active person where I can use different things and apps and not go into gym and still have a good fitness program, and those who are dormant, who don't think about fitness, because it was the gym or nothing. And if you view yourself as one of the parts of the gym, then the alternative is not going to the gym. And I don't think that's the case. Are you in the gym business or are you in the health business? And if we're in the health business, then we have other avenues we can go as well to get them into our gym to do different things. Maybe it's doing something online. Maybe it's something to do with the trainers you've got, and to build awareness, because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And if your staff are out there on social, training people just in general, here's the 5 things you can do to get moving in the morning. Here's the things, but we hold it so close to the vest. Like, if they don't come to the gym, well, then they're not getting the advice. That's the whole point of it. Well, no, that's not the case anymore. We're gatekeeping our expertise at the wrong gate. And I don't think that's smart anymore, because we're competing with virtual and in person. You triggered me into a rant. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I was completely immersed in it, because I think that if I'm thinking about the FBP family right now, they're probably recognizing the fact that the fitness industry is one where we have a huge amount of disruption, and you have just touched on a number of the points that we have seen just over the last couple of years. We've seen the introduction of virtual fitness. We've seen things like the mirrors from home. We have trainers now that are training online. So we really are an industry that has a huge amount of change happening. And not only that, but a huge amount of technology coming into the industry and trying to, measure our performance and our exercise output. And there's just so many things that we now have as part of the overall fitness and wellness landscape that we never used to have before. It's changed quite dramatically. So what would you say to the FBP family right now that are listening to this and thinking, God, we've already come through such a big time of change and disruption in our industry. How do we know what the future looks like? How do we even anticipate what that might look like in the next 10 to 20 years?
The amazing thing is, first of all, by the way, nobody knows what's coming, and it's an amazing thing. And me, especially being known in the marketing space, I always get asked I'm telling you, every single year in November, December, they're like, "Can you contribute to our column of what's coming next? What's coming next year?" And I give the same answer every time, and I'm like, "We're not good at now. Like we're not good at I want us to be better at 2007." First, before we're looking at 2025 or 2030, because what's happening is the people that come and say, "Hey, what do you think my Instagram strategy should be?" I'm like, "Well, hang on a second. Let me check out your site first. Let me check out your reviews on Google. Let me on Facebook." And I look at that, and they're a train wreck. They're like, the site doesn't render properly. Can I book like if you have personal trainers, can I book a session online? Like just the ease of use for your own clients in your gym. If you do offer like a personal training side of things, how frictionless is it? How easy is it? Have we set up the way because you think it's the best, or we set it the way because we've asked our clients and this is what they say? Because if you want to know what your clients are going to want in the next 6 months, the next 6 years, you just ask them. That's the thing. You just ask them. Like I've been, so to give some kind of credibility to this, I joked previously about, I'm not physically qualified to speak to this audience. And it's true. I'm a customer of this audience. I'm not a card carrying owner of this audience. So we've been members of the YMCA here in town, which is a gorgeous gym we have. We are members of a private boutique gym, very small one that's private trainer driven. And also some of our kids are members of a large chain gym here. And not once has any place ever said, "Hey, how can we do this even better for you? What would make you come even more? What would make us even more valuable?" And you can ask your clients one thing. This is all I ask. This is all I ask you do is use 3 words: stop, start, continue. And email them, text them, whatever way they enjoy being communicated with. And it can be different for different clients. I would ask them, what should we stop doing? What should we start doing? And what should we continue doing to ensure that you're a member of our gym, of our club, of our whatever it is for the next 5 to 10 years? That's what I'm 100%. This is as base and as important as I can stress this. They will give you the answer, because I've been yelling the answer to my gyms, and our boutique gym here is great because they've listened. And I talked to them and I said, look, going to any physical location, you got to get up, you got to get in your car, you got to go. And that's one of the biggest drawbacks of anything. I've got to get there. I got to go there. And people have to fit it in at certain times. And it's always going to be busy if I have a regular work schedule. And I talk to our gym, and I don't have a regular life or work schedule. I speak for a living. I've been wonderfully unemployed for over a decade, and I go speak at places. But what I don't want to do is leave my home all the time, or I'm on the road too much. So that stops me from doing a consistent program of potentially physical fitness with a personal or private trainer. And I've been begging, saying, please, can we shift this up? Can we do some kind of both virtual and in person? I'll keep paying for the gym. But gyms in general, they're like, well, if you're not coming, then it's, you're not in a session. I'm like, well, because I have a personal trainer, a private trainer, to be able to tell me, am I doing the form right? How many reps, how much weight? I can do that over FaceTime. I can do that if I'm on the road and I'm at a Marriott in Phoenix. I can put FaceTime up with my AirPods in, and you can say, okay, Scott, do this next. And hey, watch, your back is leaning back, or you're not as forward. It's not as good as being in person, but that would connect. It would turn into a habit for me, because when it's staggered or scattered, it doesn't turn into a habit. And most people know in this industry that habit forming is very important. It takes weeks. It sometimes takes months for people to get into a habit of physical fitness. Can we do that both virtually and in person?
So, Scott, what I'm hearing is just how important it is that we need to go back and put ourselves in our customer's shoes and to truly understand what the customer experience is like for them, but B, take the time to have that conversation with them and do the start, stop, continue, which is one of my all-time favorite methods of feedback. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, because we haven't actually talked about it on the show before, but have that conversation with our members and ask them that very simple question. What should we stop doing? What should we start doing? What should we continue doing? And what a simple, straightforward, but effective way of understanding our customers' needs and gathering that feedback. And I love the adaptability that you just talked about in regards to like a personal training session. How can we understand what it is that is unique for our members, what it is that they need, and then what can we do to actually adapt to support them in that fitness journey, in building that routine that you talk about. And it's the perfect segue to my next question, Scott, because I'm hoping that maybe there's a couple of like quick tips, and it can be fitness related or just in general, that you can share with us for a company or a team that is dealing with disruption. What are a few quick tips that we can take away today?
I think one of the most important things that when you're dealing with disruption, so what happens is somebody will come to you and they'll say, hey, what do you think about this or this or this? Or they'll say, well, this place offers this and you don't. One of the things we have to be very careful of is never to talk badly about the competition, because it makes us look bad. And I have done some talks in the industry, and I've seen what happens. And it's always this pitting you against them. Well, this gym offers this. And so you have like the discount gyms type of thing. And they go after a certain demographic of the market, and they rip on those competitions. And I'm like, well, again, one of the biggest problems people going into fitness, everybody listening right now, you're pretty sure in the fitness thing. You love fitness. It's your world. It's your chosen path currently in life. But for a lot of people, if they're not athletes, if they're not those people in fitness, it's an incredibly intimidating thing to do on so many levels. And when I come into a place and I'm wondering about membership and I'm wondering about this, and you rip on the other people, what it looks like is you look like a bully. Mm. And the problem is people who are not involved in fitness, who kind of want to get in, some of them have some baggage left over from things like high school and stuff, where the athletic people also were not kind to them then. And there's a disparity between those things, that whole stereotypical jock type of thing people deal with. And so you bring all that baggage to your door. And when I walk into your place, especially if it's my first time, you have an opportunity here to set the tone, to create that trust and that connection and that service type of aspect you're going to get. And I'm going to walk in and say, are they judging me? Because I already feel judged going in somewhere, versus are they welcoming me? And when you're judging somebody else, the competition or somebody or an individual, that shows your personality and your brand, because branding is a very basic thing. Branding is how you've made somebody feel or what they think about you. When I drive by your location, whatever I think, that's your brand, not what you think it is. And that's done through whoever's working the desk, whoever's working the phone, whoever's working the email, and how I feel at your location. Weights are weights and cardio is cardio. But do you got my back, and do you have everybody else's back too? Are you saying something about me when I walk out of here? That's a big part of that too. I don't know how to word this in the right way. Nobody cares about fitness as much as you all do. Right. And the problem is but I say this to realtors too. Nobody cares about houses as much as you do. And that's both a compliment and a constructive criticism, meaning most people's lives don't revolve around fitness, and yours does. But it should not be a detriment in your opinion of those people. Those are your members. Those are your customers. Those are your clients.
Absolutely. Scott, earlier when we first started talking about the age of disruption, we both mentioned kind of the apps that are out there and the new virtual products and everything that's now available to us. And I know very much in the fitness industry, we absolutely love it when something new comes along, something shiny and bright and distracting comes along. But you talk about these 4 key areas. You say trust, connection, consistency, and service will always trump any new app to hit the market. Do you want to talk us through just briefly each of those 4 key areas that you talk about?
Well, that's a big deal for all business, but especially yours, because the more personal a thing is, the more important trust, connection, consistency, and services. Because I don't think it's anything more vulnerable than somebody about their physical fitness, their physical characteristics. And, you're very vulnerable. So everything is heightened. Every sensitivity is heightened. So any reaction to the thing it's all heightened. They're taking all their own thoughts and baggage towards your business. So all of these things are heightened more than, let's say, even a bank to deal with somebody's money, or just a place to go to a restaurant. They don't have to deal with the same type of stuff that your industry does. So trust is a huge, huge thing, but trust can be earned before knowing somebody. And that's the thing about trust. People think trust is like, hey, I've met you, I trust you now, it's good. No, trust is built through expertise. Trust is built, I trust that you know what you're talking about. And if I take that first step to go to your establishment, I'm going to be in good hands. So that's established through content. That's established through what you're putting out there. That's established through referrals from current members. Trust is something that can be earned before the relationship begins. And that's where content marketing comes into play. That's where referrals come into play. So trust can be created before meeting, but it can also be broken, afterwards. So it's a very sacred thing. And then connection is really then the meeting, the in-person, when I get to know you. We all want to feel like we belong. As humans, we want to feel like we belong somewhere. And one of the things about being a member somewhere, just that word alone, member means community. And that means I'm part of a community. And so when I have a gym membership, it shouldn't be about whether or not I just get monthly billed, whether or not I'm there or not, which is something that, by the way, really gets me about the industry. That a lot of the industry, there's a whole focus, there's a whole part about, the membership. I really think sometimes, especially at the worst moment of people in the industry, somebody's had to say, if it wasn't for our members, it'd be so much easier to run the gym. That's so, it's so frustrating. But it gets to the point where it's like, ask anybody on the street. Just pick a random sampling of people and say, what's the hardest thing to get out of paying for, like that you've agreed to? And it's got to be either your cell phone or a gym membership, right? Well, it's the whole, you've got to mail a letter on Wednesdays, post dated on this date, and have the chancellor of
I've got to tell you, Scott, I think there's a lot of people out there will completely have a big smile on their face and understanding, but on behalf of the fitness industry, I know that there are a lot of businesses that have tried to turn that policy around and make it a lot more easier for people to come in and out of the business.
Which is great, yeah. But because here's the thing, you just know it's a ruse. And the problem is, if you're making it difficult for people to cancel for the sake of making it difficult to cancel, so you'll continue to get that recurring revenue, that's unethical.
Yeah,
that is unethical. And people say, well, if I want to cancel my Peloton membership of my bike, we have one here. If I want to cancel it, I go click, click, and it's gone. Yeah. And the problem is the bar is set really low for that. And that shouldn't be the case. This case should be, and I get it. Look, if I haven't showed up to one of the gym memberships we have for a while now, I'm like, well, it's on me. You keep the money. Well, congrats. Well done. But when you're counting on that, when you're making it that difficult, like when I come in there and I'm like, people will lie to the point now. They're saying like, I'm moving. Even though you're not, because it makes it that much easier, and I won't get the sales pitch the other way of why I need to stay. So it makes it, if we're trying to find ways to get around people canceling, anyway, that was another trick.
We could have a whole show just talking about this.
Oh my goodness! You just wait until I give this keynote about this. I'm gonna have to rein in, how long I can rant about this part, because it's important. Because you can't say you're about the members. You can't say you're about health for people when you hurt people's mental health when they want to cancel. This is not an exaggeration or a joke. It is a huge stressor for people. It's actually one of the reasons why people also don't sign up, because they don't think they can sign off. And that is a big deal as well. So, and here's the thing, going back to disruption for a second, this is important, because disruption loves three things. Disruption loves high overhead, high margin, and low service expectations. So if your business has one of those three things, there's a chance something can be disrupted in there. If you have two of them, look out. And if it's all three, I wish you all the best. Because an example like disruption comes into, fitness. Well, one of the problems with the high, now the overhead can also be the high overhead to get into it for your clients, the friction of it. And they look at it, well, can we do fitness at home? Can we do fitness on your smartwatch? Can we do all these things? And that's where you see that thing and people signing up. It's like, wait, I don't have to go somewhere? That's a big part of that. But also service, the gap in service, both my expectation for quitting, but also being in it. Well, there's a whole service issue, perception problem in the industry as well. And disruption loves that as well.
So, Scott, I thought it was so interesting that kind of little segue that we were making into talking about connection, because you're so right. I mean, and I think our industry now knows that there has been this problem in the past of people feeling locked into their gym contracts. And I know over the last kind of 5 years, there's been a huge turnaround, because we've had the introduction of things like boutique studios, which you mentioned who have gone the opposite way, and instead of charging a membership fee, will charge a cost per class, for example, and there's no commitment. It's literally just, are you showing up to a class one day or are you not? And I think that we have definitely started to see a shift with some of the bigger boxes as well, who are understanding that, customers these days don't have the time, nor should they take the time to have to go through that extraordinary long process of cancelling and making up reasons that they want to leave. So flexibility has really heightened in regards to what we need to recognise in our businesses, I think. And I'm looking forward to hearing some more from you about that. And we're actually going to talk in just a second about your URSA presentation that's coming up in March. But first, I've got one more question for you, and it's a super important one, because in the fitness industry, we have millennials employees, and we have a lot of millennials using our fitness facilities. Now, you talk about the millennial myth. Do you want to explain what you mean by that?
Of course. So one of the things I've been noticing over the past 5 years is we seem to be blaming millennials for pretty much everything. Like everything that's going on in the world, we're just like, no matter, it's like replace the word. Like if we're upset about something, we'll just say millennials. Like we go for lunch somewhere and there's kale. You're like, oh, millennials. Back in my day, we had iceberg lettuce, and then we see, and then you're like, oh, look at that quinoa, and you're not even pronouncing words right. It's amazing. And then, and really millennials it's like the translation is when you hear the word millennials, what we're trying to say is people younger than us, and we don't like you. That's what it means. We don't like you simply because you're young. We don't even know the age range. Like we're calling people who aren't even millennials. Millennials are actually between the ages of about 20 and 38. Right now. And when you're ripping somebody, you're not talking about a 37-year-old. You're just talking about people younger than you. And we did the research. Allison and I went through the research for years, and we went back to 50 BC to see somebody ripping on the younger generations. It was Cicero, 50 BC, had a quote about the youth of today. No, they don't listen to their parents, and everybody's writing a book. That quote literally could have been written on Tuesday, right? Like it's the same. We always think youth is wasted on the young, and what it is, it's a resentment. It's a resentment because we are not young at this point, and we rip on the youth. But it's part of it. Look, my grandfather hated my father. My father hates me, and I hate our kids. Like it's just the way. I don't hate our kids. I hate everybody else's kids. But it's just the way it is. But the difference versus every other generation since the dawn of time, the difference is disruption. The difference is you don't have to have 25 years experience in the industry to be at the top of the heap. You have to just think of things differently. You have to do things different, look at things differently. And that's where the anger comes in. They're saying, look, I didn't have that when I was young. I didn't have that opportunity. Why should you? But that's what progress is. Progress is we shouldn't have to struggle potentially for decades to get into that sweet spot. We shouldn't have to struggle to own our own company because we're 27 years old. I think it's brilliant. And I actually, we yearn. That's an old person word, yearn, right? We yearn for yesteryear. What are we yearning for that was, it's not here today, but what, was here 50 years ago? Like polio? Like, I don't understand what we want more faxing. I don't understand it's better today. Things are better today than they were. It's progress. The problem is we're like, yeah, but we want our due because we were told this is the way it is. And it's not millennials' fault. If you really want to talk facts, it's harder to be young today than it's ever has been. The cost of education is skyrocketed. The cost of housing has skyrocketed, yet wages have remained stagnant. And we're ripping on millennials because they're supposed to move out of their parents' basement. And like, what are you talking about? Just do the math equation. A lot of students won't be out of debt until they're a senior citizen at this point. And we just do the typical thing. And it's just not true. Millennials are the ones who are creating the disruption because they haven't asked for permission. And that should be the way it always should be.
So, Scott, keeping that in mind, just very briefly then, as business owners or as managers of our fitness facilities, what can we do better to ensure that we are doing the right thing by our younger employees, that we are hearing their point of view and treating them in a way that is going to be beneficial for us as the business owner or for the team environment. Do you have any tips around that?
For sure. I just never base the quality of somebody's idea based on the number on their driver's license. That their idea has merit regardless of age, because it's the ideas from outside, especially newer employees or younger employees, that can create that innovation / disruption, that we can look at it differently. That if we value our people, because this is to do with employees as well, and you can do the same stop, start, continue with employees. I would suggest doing it on an exit interview. If you do them, I believe you should. If somebody's leaving, I want to know why. If somebody's coming in, I want to know their thoughts on the business. I would like to interview somebody coming into the business and say, what do you think should change? I would invite disruption just for the ideas, because that's where the ideas come out. If you beat down people's ideas, if you just say, hush, I know best, you do. It's your place. It's your gym. Then of course you're allowed to do or say. You are the final say in stuff. But if I want to have a business that not only is there, but prospers and grows, then I know it's not just going to be me and my ideas that are going to get us there. You have all the answers you need, usually with the people you already have or you just lost. Mm-hmm. It'll put a lot of consultants out of business if you just started asking your own people. It really would.
Crazy idea.
Mind-blowing idea here.
Oh, Scott, you know what? I feel like I could talk to you all day long, but I've got 2 super quick questions to finish up on. First of all, really, really excited about this because on Thursday, March the 19th, you are the keynote speaker at IRSA 2020 in San Diego. So just tell us briefly about your session, Unselling the New Customer Experience.
Well, this is a perfect, the whole interview is a perfect introduction to the session, because unselling the new customer experience is about the best way to sell is to build that trust and connection and service and consistency. And that if this business is hugely weighted on referrals, which it is because it's a trust business, then you already have the answers. You already have the ability, and it's all about that stop, start, continue, what to do when you get a bad review, how to deal with stuff. And it's about getting more referrals, getting more trust, because they're the least expensive way to get leads and the most profitable, because you've already built that trust gap kind of barrier, that bridge over it.
This is going to be
and
phenomenal.
my mom's coming with me, by the way.
She's coming. I hope we've got her a front row seat.
Oh, she is always front row, and she loves to wave to the audience. I got to make up for my teen years. I'm telling you, I got.
If you've been focusing on this since you were 12 years old, I think she's in for a great treat.
Get your pen ready now for Keep Me's Fit Bizpiration.
For this week's Keep Me Fit Bizpiration, I asked Scott to share his top 3 tips to build a business in 2020 and beyond. Here's what he had to say.
Sure, specifically for the industry as well. Number 1, make it as easy to cancel your membership as it is to sign up. That's you just know that's sticking right under my craw. It's just it's getting me upset, and it sets the tone for everybody. Number 2, again, same. Let's to stop judging on age and look at potential and innovation ideas. And number 3, market less in a selfish way. And what I mean by that, and this is the most important point I can make, is we market the way we like to be marketed to, which is wonderful, but your clients may not, your members may not. Maybe if you use Instagram or you don't use Instagram, if you use Facebook or you don't, wherever your market is, wherever your demographic is, investigate those platforms and investigate those, not because you may like it or use it, but because they're using it.
Keep Me, smarter member retention. KeepMe.ai.
Fantastic tips to finish up on today. Scott, what an absolute pleasure it's been to talk to you today. I am so grateful for your time. We're really excited to see you at IRSA 2020. We are going to put links to all of your books in the show notes. So if anyone wants to go and check those out, and I'm sure they will after this conversation, then make sure you head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and check out the show notes for today's episode. Scott, once again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. And I can't wait for the event. And I can't wait to meet you in person.
Thank you once again to Scott. Now here's a message from our podcast partner, Precor. Tribe, if you haven't explored a functional training space for your gym, then now is the time. With Queenex Functional Training by Precor, there is a unit to fit every space. Plus, education is included to ensure that training is delivered with confidence. You need to jump online and check this out right now. Go to precor.com/fitness business podcast. As mentioned at the start of the show, I recently caught up with Caitlin Anderson Fernandez, the URSA Advocacy Content Manager, to hear about some insights and highlights of URSA 2020. Take a listen. Caitlin, what an absolute pleasure it is to have you join us on the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Really excited because we are so close to URSA 2020, but there is still time to get along. So for anyone that is considering coming along this year but haven't yet bought their ticket, tell us a little bit about this year's event.
Ooh, okay, so URSA 2020 is the shorthand for the URSA International Convention and Trade Show, which is this massive event that we put on every year. And basically it's like 4 days of networking, education sessions, phenomenal keynotes, and just seriously so much more.
Absolutely. I love that overview and I love your energy around the event. And it just...
Yeah.
Well, it does. It gives everyone a taste of what it's all about because there is an amazing atmosphere when you get along to URSA. And I think a lot of it has to do with the people that are involved, the speakers or the attendees. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, who should attend URSA 2020?
Okay, who should come to URSA 2020? Of course I want to be like anyone and everyone, but honestly, if you're even like tangentially related to the fitness industry, then you need to come to the URSA Convention and Trade Show. I'm talking about club owners, operators, managers, people who invest in clubs, people who supply clubs with equipment or products. All of these professions can get so much out of attending the convention and trade show because there's all these networking opportunities and education sessions like I mentioned before. So not to say anyone and everyone, but anyone and everyone connected to the fitness industry. You don't want to miss it. It's a huge event.
I could not agree more. And of course, we have just been speaking to one of the URSA keynotes, Scott Stratten, and I think everyone will agree he was absolutely phenomenal on the show. And I, for one, cannot wait to hear his keynote at URSA. So talk us through some of the highlights that we can look forward to at this year's event.
We have the keynotes, like you just talked to Scott Stratten, like amazing keynotes. We have the URSA Women's Leadership Summit. We have the actual trade show floor. And seriously, side note, the vibe on the trade show floor is what I want my whole life to be like. It is amazing in there. We also have, in addition to all those things, we have these like awesome networking opportunities. And two of them spring to mind immediately. We have the URSA Foundation VIP reception, which is basically this night of idea sharing and networking amongst all of the people in the industry who are truly committed to getting people of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities more active and improving their health through exercise. But there's another awesome networking opportunity that I personally have gone to every year I've been to the convention, and I always meet the most interesting people. This year, it's on Thursday morning, and it's called the Fitness Business Podcast Walk.
Well, I am so glad you mentioned that. You have been such an important part of the walk, and you're so right, Caitlin. Like, the most amazing conversations happen at that walk, at the FBP family meetup. So thank you so much for including that in your highlight reel.
It is. It's one of my personal highlights because every year I really do meet the most interesting people, some of which I keep in contact with for the rest of the year. So highly recommend. And I know that I've already talked about so many highlights, but I think there are just 3 that I would really like to mention and highlight. So the first thing I really want to highlight is the brand new way we're kicking off the event this year, which is we're doing it bright and early on the first day of the convention, the new URSA 5K. So you can run it, you can walk it, you can show up and just show your support. But we're going to get everyone out there really early to do this 5K. And a portion of the proceeds actually goes towards the URSA Foundation big mission of inclusive fitness, which I think everyone in our industry can really get behind. The second thing I really wanted to highlight were the new education formats we're doing this year. So one is the URSA Skills Workshops. And personally, I'm really pumped because I get to teach one of the workshops, but also because they're these hands-on learning experiences. And I know personally, those are my favorite way to learn at a convention, to really get in and do it in the moment. But we're also doing this new URSA Tech X session, and we're going to have leaders and industry experts and technology experts all talking about the latest trends and the ways you can use the technology that's already in your club to improve it. And then the third thing is I really want to talk about the URSA app for a hot second. And you'll totally understand why, and you'll be like, this makes so much sense. But I wanted to mention the URSA app because it's available on both Android and iOS devices, but you can plan your schedule for the convention, you can look up the trade show floor, you can connect with other attendees and the speakers and learn about the keynotes and do all this really amazing stuff. You can download URSA resources, super great, but also there is a game in there. And I love a good game. And right now, not to brag, but I am in first place. So I love games, I love competitions, and I'm always looking for new competitors if you want to come try and knock me out of first place. But like I said, I could go on forever because I'm super stoked about URSA 2020, and I just hope everyone going is too. So
Caitlin, I love your energy, and I think you've got a jump start on the rest of us with the app competition at this stage. But what I love about what you just talked about is the variety of things that are available. So you talked about the URSA 5K, which is happening on the very first morning of URSA 2020, which is awesome. Like you said, you can run, you can walk, whatever you want, but the proceeds do go to the URSA Foundation, which is super important. I loved that you talked about the tech event, which I didn't know about. So I'm so excited that you talked to us about that as well. And that's a great one for people to be involved in. And of course, the app is super important as well. So let's wrap all of this up with the number one thing that everyone needs to know, which is how do they register for this year's event?
So registering for the convention could not be easier. All you have to do is go to ursa.org/go2020. But if you are the kind of person who likes to talk on the phone, there's also a phone number you can call. I don't even have my husband's number memorized, so I did write this one down to make sure I didn't get it wrong. But the phone number that you can call to register is 1-617-951-0055. So call that number to register, go online and register. There's many different ways. We just would love to see everyone there.
Phenomenal, Caitlin. Thank you so much. And we will make it super easy for everyone, because if you're watching the video right now, you'll be able to see the web link and the phone number right below us on screen. If you're listening to the audio show right now, then you guys know what to do. Go over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, check out the show notes for today's episode, and of course, those links will be right there. So, Caitlin, thank you so much for joining me today. I love your energy around this year's event. That is just a little taste of what URSA is like year in, year out. So I cannot wait to catch up with you and all of the team. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Can I just say thank you to all of our exhibitors and sponsors for making this event really happen? And
absolutely. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Absolute pleasure to see you. I promised you not one, but two bonus interviews. So here comes interview number 2 with our podcast partner, Trina Gray from Team Rockstar Fit. Trina, welcome along. I always love getting you back on the show.
Oh, it's so nice to be here, Chantel. Thank you for having me.
Oh, that is my absolute pleasure. And I love catching up because I get to hear everything that you and Team Rockstar Fit have been up to. So give us a bit of an update. What has been happening and what does 2020 look like for you?
Well, I'm so glad we're chatting today because there's so much happening even just today that gives you a snapshot into what Team Rockstar Fit is up to for 2020. We're in the process right now of booking and finalizing 2 big live events for Team Rockstar Fit. Again, Team Rockstar Fit are women in fitness in the United States, Canada, and the UK who want to grow their fitness careers with online virtual coaching. And we do this virtual coaching in partnership with Team Beachbody. So these are women around the country who love fitness, have bigger dreams, and they want freedom along with their success. So we are planning 2 big team outings and retreats this year. One is in New Orleans in July, and one is in Scottsdale, Arizona in October. So these will be places for the women on our team to meet up, to have networking, to get education and learning and trainings and have some fun, go on some hikes, do some workouts, enjoy some dinners and drinks together. So we have 2 big events that we're working on right now, one in New Orleans in July and one in Scottsdale, Arizona in October. So that's one big thing happening with us. Another fun thing that we do just on a daily basis, Chantal, is I help these women on our coaching team set up what we call virtual studios. So this is allowing women in fitness to train clients anywhere at any time. This allows women in fitness who are maybe group fitness instructors, personal trainers, yoga instructors, studio owners. You know, the range of fitness professionals these days is vast. And a lot of women want to grow their careers, but on their own time and in their own way. So having their own virtual studio by way of a private app with Team Beachbody allows these women to train clients anywhere at any time. We don't have to write all the workouts ourselves. We don't have to write all the food plans ourselves. We can use really well-created professional programs and products from Team Beachbody and then use our own coaching style, our own accountability, and our own expertise to help clients get results. So it's an efficient and fun way to grow your career without having to put in more time in the trenches in the studio. So these virtual studios that I'm helping women create are they're fun. They're getting great results. It's one thing that we've really been digging into. And lastly, I'd say across Team Rockstar Fit, we've just been having a lot of fun as a team, masterminding with each other. We just finished a team-wide book club with this amazing book called Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. So we had women all across our team, all over the country, all over the world participate in this book club. And books like this don't just help with online virtual coaching. They help in life, whether you're a mom, a spouse, a partner, a daughter, a trainer, a studio owner. Doing professional and personal development is just a good thing to do. So we support each other in business and life. We run virtual studios and we have plans to meet up twice in 2020.
What an amazing update, Trina. And I have to say, when you were talking about the virtual studios, there are so many coaches that I've come across in my career over the last couple of years that I know want to get into that space. They want the flexibility to be able to train clients outside of like a physical location or outside of a one-on-one. But sometimes the ability to do that can feel overwhelming. So I love that you have that as something that you can coach them on, that you can work with them on, and you can help them set up that virtual studio option so that they can continue to work with their clients in a variety of ways and in a variety of times. And I have to also say, I'm a huge fan of Marie Forleo. Like, what a fantastic book to be grabbing and to be doing for your ongoing education. That is just brilliant. So, you know, over the years when we've talked about the different women that you've worked with and the different coaches that you've worked with, and I know that there has been so many people that are part of Team Rockstar Fit, just give us a bit of an update on the kind of women that work with you and that work best in Team Rockstar Fit.
I'm so glad you asked. I find that the women I work with kind of come from two different places. They're either fitness trainers or fitness enthusiasts who've become group fitness instructors, yoga instructors. Kind of fitness has been a side job or a hobby job, and they want to do more with it. So this is like Lenya in Montana, Emily in Texas, Allie in New Jersey, Lauren in Wisconsin, Erin in Florida. These are women that have a passion for fitness, have certifications, have led classes, trained clients, and they want to grow, but they want to grow in a way that fits their life as a wife or a spouse or a mom. So these are women who have been able to earn an income on their own time, in their own way, choosing their own coworkers, choosing their clients, and being able to do something that's purposeful, like train clients online and help people achieve amazing results from the comfort of their own home, from the comfort of the side of the soccer field, from the comfort of a hotel room or travel. These are women who are kind of taking back control of their schedules and still doing what they love to do. The other audience I work with a lot are studio owners, people like Leanne in Vancouver Island, Jill in Connecticut, Deb in Toronto. These are women who have studios, feel the burden and the pressure of paying overhead and salaries and insurance and all the things that go with the bricks and mortar. And I'm helping them bring in extra money in their studio by way of offering fitness and nutrition products and virtual coaching to their clients. So it's helping the studio owners kind of breathe a little easier, pay their bills a little with more ease by adding this revenue stream to their business. So those are the two audiences I work with the most that I love guiding and mentoring. And that's what I'm having a lot of fun with these days.
Absolutely amazing, Trina, and a shout out to all of those incredible women that you just mentioned right now, and for all of the FBP family that are listening at the moment and feel as though they relate to those categories that you just talked about, and they think, oh, this is something that I would like to be a part of in 2020 and I want to work with Trina in 2020. Tell us, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, thanks for asking. Very easily going to my website, teamrockstarfit.com is such an easy way to just click the Start Now button. You'll fill out an application. It comes directly to my own email. I review all the applications myself. I connect with the women who've reached out. We set up a one-on-one video conference so we can meet and get to know each other and decide if this is a good fit. I do believe that business is personal and business is relationships. And so I am clear on bringing in women who are open-minded, that want growth, that love fitness, and would be a great fit for this team. And I want to know that I'd be a great fit in their life as well. So Team Rockstar Fit is the easiest way to fill out an application. Of course, in the world of social media, you can go to my Instagram, which is Trina Gray, Gray, and just send me a simple DM, and I will get you that application or at least start a conversation with you there.
Absolutely brilliant, Trina. I always love catching up with you because I love hearing about what's been happening with the business. And I know that every time we catch up, we reach more women, and it means that you're actually helping and mentoring and working and coaching with more and more fitness professionals out there in the world and expanding our industry. So, Trina, thank you so much. Love chatting to you, and all the best for Team Rockstar Fit in 2020.
Thank you so much, Chantal. Best of luck to you as well.
Quickfire 5.
This week's Quickfire 5 guest is the Chief Executive Officer of Blitzmetrics, Dennis Yu. And as always, the first thing that I asked Dennis was, why do you do what you do? Here's what he had to say.
I love seeing other people succeed. I've been a tutor, teacher, mentor for such a long time that I've always wanted to bring education into the workforce. And I love seeing other people be able to grow their businesses using systems and processes. My mentor, when I first started my career, was Al Casey, who was the CEO of American Airlines. And I learned so much about what happens when things break or pilots strike or there's weather patterns. And I thought, what if all businesses could have that same kind of process behind them? And I'm on a mission to help other people eliminate the nonsense in their business.
I love that mission. And what's one ritual that helps you become better at what you do?
I like to start the day with 1 minute of gratitude. First thing in the morning, I think about the amazing things that I have. Mark and I, we did paramotoring today, as we talked about earlier in the pre-call. And when you think about the things that you're grateful for, it puts you in a position of power. And that helps me create 1 minute videos. That helps me figure out who I'm going to reach out to, because I want to tell them how much they mean to me. And I find that gratitude has always been the most powerful tool in business. I think few people exercise.
That's a great ritual to start the day. And tell us, are there any apps or systems that you use to stay in control of your workload?
I'm a big fan of Gmail, but I integrate Gmail with Basecamp and Boomerang by Gmail, which is a tool that helps me manage my inbox. I get 1,000 emails a day, if you can imagine what's that like trying to process. And I'm able to take control of that because I can prioritize and I can chase other people who haven't gotten back to me. I never have to remember anything because I'm all about having systems so that the brain is there for processing instead of storage.
Just say that name again of the system that you use in conjunction with Gmail.
So Gmail, I use Boomerang by Gmail.
Boomerang. I should have got that one straight away.
It's great. It'll change your life. Yeah. And Basecamp, and I use Basecamp 3. I've used all versions of Basecamp for the last 15 years. And I also use Timecamp, which is tracking task management. So everything that I would want to do, if I can delegate it out to someone else, I'm going to figure out how to do that. If I have to do something more than 3 times, that means I didn't systematize it. That means if there's something that you do multiple times, Chantal, you want to record a little video on how to do it. And that way you can give it to someone else, like a virtual assistant in the Philippines, someone else on your team, many ways.
I love that. And I'm going to grab the link for Boomerang and Basecamp. We use Basecamp for the show as well, so I can also support what a fantastic system that is. But we're going to grab the links for those and pop them in the show notes for today. Now, Dennis, is there one book, podcast, or blog that you would recommend and why?
I recommend Principles, a book by Ray Dalio, one of the richest men in the world. But that's not because that's why you'd want to listen. It's because he is all about systems and principles to understand what is real versus what is an opinion. And often the people who are the most proud and confident about what they think they know are the most wrong and ignorant. And the idea of Dunning-Kruger, if you look it up, it'll change your life. The idea that people who don't know anything are the most confident are the people who will ruin your business. There are a lot of people that want to give you advice. Most are dead wrong because they haven't done the very thing they're trying to tell you what to do.
Great one. So we'll grab that book as well and pop it in the show notes. And to finish off our pre-call Quick Fire 5, just give us a really quick overview about the topic that we will speak on during your main interview.
Today, we want to use Facebook for $1 a day. A lot of people don't have a social media strategy. They don't know how to get results or ROI. They see it as a waste of time of teenagers that are goofing off, or, the big brother is stealing data from you. But Facebook for $1 a day, I want to show how all of us can be methodical in building our brands and relationships and businesses in a smart way without spending a lot of time. 1 minute a day also accompanies the idea of $1 a day.
Do you think we can also squeeze in a rewind show today? We've come this far, so let's just go for it. This week's Rewind show features the guest that you just heard from, Trina Gray. The episode was called The Best Advice Ever for Growing Your Fitness Business. And let me tell you, it really was a phenomenal show. In the episode, Trina shared the first non-negotiable steps when starting to grow and expand your business. We talked about ways to incorporate new revenue streams, challenges to look out for and things to avoid when introducing new revenue streams, and how to minimize risk to ensure that we have the very best chance of succeeding. If you missed that episode, then go to today's show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, scroll down and click the link in the timeline for episode 220. On Thursday, March the 19th, 2020, not long to go now, you'll have the opportunity to join friends and colleagues at the annual FBP Family Meetup at URSA 2020. Starting from the lobby of the Convention Centre at 6:30 a.m, we walk and talk for 60 minutes, sharing experience, ideas and stories. Everyone from the FBP family is invited, and we'd love for you to join us on the day. We'd also love to know who's coming along. So you've got a couple of options. Either go to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and up the top of the page, you can click on the link called Meetup and register your details right there. Otherwise, just email me directly at Chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's huge episode. A reminder that all the resources and the links for today's show can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you to our foundation partner, Active Management. Active Management are a fitness business coaching company that help clients all over the world. And this month, I have a business tip for you all. Join the Active Management Facebook community. It's an amazing group and you'll meet like-minded fitness owners and managers from all over the world. All you need to do is go to facebook.com/groups/Active Management Community. It's a highly engaging community where JT from Active Management shares loads of resources. Things like photos from inside gyms, reasons to exercise, a monthly book club, challenges, and even ideas under $50. It's free and it is an awesome community. Once again, just go to facebook.com/groups/Active Management Community. Thank you all once again for joining me. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.